I made more Beyblade kits, and this time I've made some accessories as well. But before we talk about that, I'm giving away another Bamboo Lab A1 Mini to one of you guys. More details about the giveaway later in the video. Back to Beyblades now. Okay, so why am I doing this? Well, before you comment, he's run out of ideas. No, it's not that. I've got plenty of good ideas left, okay? The reason is actually this. This meth-powered piano-looking thing is a 3D printable typewriter that I'm working on, and it's taking a bit longer than expected. And I'd like to make some YouTube money this December, so here I am. Anyway, last time we made these, and that was my first project with an FDM printer, so I made some mistakes, as some of you guys politely pointed out, and with this video I plan on fixing all of those mistakes and making some new stuff as well that would add to the customizability of this toy. For this video we're gonna go with the metal fusion generation of Beyblades, which was kind of what I grew up with, and in case you guys were unaware, these Beyblades were quite a bit different from the plastic generation stuff in terms of their parts. The best thing about this generation of Beyblades was the customizability. You could go from a Beyblade that is low and flat, just like the viewer retention graph on most of my videos, to a Beyblade that has the word hell in its name if you want to be extra edgy. But for the purpose of this video, we're gonna go with these two Beyblades, Storm Pegasus, owned by the protagonist Jinka Hagane, and Rock Leone, owned by this guy. I can't remember his name right now, so let's just call him Patrick for now. Patrick was Jinka's first rival in the show, and their Beyblades are essentially the polar opposites when it comes to their stats, so I thought it would be a good idea to go for these two. Now we're still going to be using a 22mm skateboard bearing for the weight, so unlike last time, we're going to have to incorporate the bearing with the fusion wheel, and to do that, I designed these. These fusion wheels have a 3D printed outer ring that fits over the bearing, giving it considerable weight without adding any extra height, which is also an accurate summary of what puberty was like for me. Also, I made the fit extra tight because last time, one of the main complaints that people had was that you had to glue the top part of the Beyblade to the bearing or it would not spin very well. This time, all you need is a mallet and you should be good to go because violence is almost always the answer. As for the energy rings, this is what they look like. There's nothing too special going on with these two apart from these slots that fit over the fusion wheel, locking everything in place, which again eliminates the need for sniffing glue. And I know that makes some of you sad, but we can't have any more kids sniffing glue and turning into whatever the fuck that is. Anyway, next up we need to design the spin track and the face bolts, which are essentially going to hold the entire Beyblade together. And for that, instead of going with a threaded design like the real thing, I made this. You just push the face bolt into its slot and then you put the spin track on the other end, rotate it, and you're done. This is very similar to the mechanism these Beyblades use for attaching the tip to the spin track, so obviously I used it for the tip as well, which goes on with the help of this key. Now you can put it on without the key as well, but I've got the grip strength of a career slime factory worker, so I kinda need a tool for this, but your mileage may vary. Okay, we're done with the Beyblades now. This is what they look like, and we're gonna set them aside for now and focus on the thing that most people had issues with last time, the launcher. But before we start working on it, I would like to thank my sponsor for this video, PCBWay. If you're planning a build project this holiday season, PCBWay is the perfect partner to take care of all of your manufacturing and fabrication needs. They're currently running a big Christmas sale until December 31st, and it's the perfect time to try out their services because not only are they giving away free Christmas coupons to make their already affordable services even more enticing, but they're also offering up to 3 free prototypes for your holiday themed design. Plus there's a special sale on their store as well with a lucky draw for additional prizes, so you really don't want to miss this. Check out their Christmas sale at the link in the description. Now back to the video. Okay, I'll admit the launcher was a total shit show last time and we'll work on those issues one by one, but frankly at the time I thought I did a pretty good job. But in hindsight, I was 25, I was a baby. I was still experimenting with different cereals for breakfast. But now that I'm 25 and a half and much wiser, I know two things for sure. The design choices I made with that launcher were horrible, and Honey Nut Cheetos is the most popular cereal for a reason. This time I made the ripcord much thicker so there's barely any play in the system, and the body of the launcher was completely redone from scratch to visually resemble the light launcher from this generation of Beyblades, specifically the Japanese version, but functionally it's very different from the light launcher because of this. So with my last launcher, one of the biggest issues was how unrepairable it was. Once you break this part, you might as well drive to the beach and hand feed it to a baby dolphin because it's basically non-biodegradable ocean trash at this point. But with this launcher, it simply isn't the case. Imagine this. You're a clumsy fat ass and you somehow manage to sit on your launcher and break it. Now you can easily reopen the assembly, attach a replacement, and then close it back up, and now it's ready to be sat on again. Another major issue with the last launcher was the prongs being too easy to break, and that wasn't actually a design issue, it was more so related to the orientation of the print because you kinda had to print this piece upright, which meant the layer lines were parallel to the base, making the prongs structurally weak. To fix that, I've broken this part down into 3 separate parts, and the prongs now print horizontally, making them much stronger at the cost of an extra step in the assembly and 2 extra parts, bringing the total number of parts to a very choking hazardly 15. If you like choking on a Kinder Egg, you're gonna love this. Okay, now that we're done with the parts of the kit, we can add the kit part to the kit and turn it into a kit. I'm sorry, I should have written this part down somewhere, but anyway, here's what the kit looks like. But before we assemble them and talk about the giveaway as well, there's one more thing I need to make. Actually, it's like 7 small things, but you get the idea. The first accessory is going to be a launcher grip because even though this launcher is a bit bigger than the last one and much grippier, I understand that some people have fingers fat enough to give a chonky radish body dysmorphia, so it should be a good idea. I've designed mine to look like the OG Beyblade Metal Fusion launcher grip, and here's what it looks like with the launcher. Then we can turn it into a kit as well, and we're done. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, the best thing about this generation of Beyblades was the customizability, and I don't think I'd be doing this era justice if I just designed 2 spin tracks and performance tips, so I made these parts as well. There are 3 new spin tracks, one unusually tall, another one is horny, and the last one is a bit of a hack because you can add 6mm steel bearings to it and make your Beyblade heavier, which is good for defense and stamina. There are 3 new tips as well. This one is the wide defense tip, which used to be my favorite performance tip because of its mix of stability and stamina. And then there's the R2F tip, which is a bit more aggressive than the normal flat tip. And the last one is the spike or sharp tip, which is great for stamina, but not as stable as a wide ball tip or the wide defense tip. That's about it. Here's everything we made today, and now let's assemble it and test it out. For this one, I'm not going to do an assembly montage. I'm just going to go through the steps one by one because last time some of you felt like the steps weren't clear enough even though it was like 4 moving parts total. I wonder if these people watch movies and think it's just a 2-hour long sequence of changing colors and shapes on TV, or if they actually understand what's going on. Anyway, here we go. First, we're going to use the snippers to remove all of the parts from the sprue. You don't need snippers to remove the bearing because you kind of put it there yourself. Then you take the fusion wheel and put it over the bearing and smack it with the mallet until it sits flush with the bearing. After this, you align these 2 slots with these 2 prongs and fit the energy ring over the fusion wheel. Then you push the face bolt into its slot, turn the whole thing around, and fit the spin track over the protruding end of the face bolt. Rotate it a little bit until it locks, and then you can attach the performance tip to the spin track, lock it in place with the key, and you're done. Good job! Here, have some hydrating sewer sludge. You deserve it, champ. Now comes the difficult part, the launcher. For this, you're going to remove these supports from the gear. You need to clean off these tiny supports as well. And then you can push these prongs into the base of the spinny bit of the launcher. These tiny tabs fit into the base, and since it's friction fit, the best way to do this is to partially insert the prongs into the base, flip it over, use a pen or something, and hit it with the mallet to lock those tabs in place. Now you can use pliers to push the gear into the base as well, and you're done with the prongs. Then you take these 2 parts and fit them into the top part of the launcher body like this, and then use your mallet to push them in and make them flush with the surface. Now let's add our prongs to the body of the launcher and close it up like this. Great, we're done with the launcher now. The launcher grip is optional, but if you're printing it, just put the 2 parts of the handle together into this slot, then cover it up with this part and use your mallet to friction fit everything together. Attach this part, which also doubles as a key over here, and you're done. Here's what everything looks like, and now let's test it out. Okay, it works. Great. Now, if you want to make these for yourself, you can get the Storm Pegasus kit for free on Maker World. But if you also want to get the Rock Leone kit, the extra spin tracks, the performance tips, and the launcher grip as well, then you can get them on Gumroad or my Patreon. Links for everything will be in the description. Oh shit, I almost forgot about the giveaway. Well, I'll be giving away a Bamboo Lab A1 Mini to one of you guys, and all you need to do to enter the giveaway is be a subscriber and comment on this video. You can also like or dislike this video if you're feeling generous, but that's obviously optional. I'm gonna pick the winner a month from the release date of this video, so you have until then to do what's necessary. And just an extra bit of information, I actually get coupons from Maker World if one of my models gets a lot of boosts and downloads. So if I make enough money from the free Storm Pegasus model to be able to give away another A1 Mini, I'm gonna pick 2 winners instead of 1. But again, this is contingent on how this video performs. Anyway, that's about it for this one, and a special thank you to my Patreon members for their continued support. This month, all of their money is going towards helping underprivileged children. I'll post the details on my Patreon in a bit, and no, this is not a joke. I know I usually put a joke here, but this time I'm actually going to use your money for something good. As for the typewriter, I'm going to get back to working on it in January, and hopefully I can finish it this time. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and all of that stuff, and watch this video next. Bye bye!
You and I, we are so random. You bring the darkness to the light, split the atom. I ignore the fact that this will never last.